Hey gang, I'm sure you have heard by now that I made the switch last year to the Schaffer XV Rest and the Schaffer Opposition Air sight. And I wanted to give you some details on why I chose these after, years and years of using the same sight and rest from a different brand. And I was never sponsored by that brand or anything like that. I just liked it. But then I was introduced to the Schaffer equipment last year and decided to try it, and I was so impressed that I decided to go ahead and make the change. And I think I'll start out, this is my 2022 bow, the Matthews V3X, but I'm going to start with the bow that I used last year and show you the Opposition Air sight that I used last year, and to explain a little bit about how this one works and then how it was even improved for this year. So this sight is one that you can remove from the bow. I've showed you that before, and which is cool for traveling and everything like that, but it's very, very light, and which is really helpful when you think about the fact that your sight affects your balance on the bow and things like that. And when you're holding the bow out at arm's length to shoot, lighter is better. This is last year's Opposition Air sight by Schaffer, and I did 2 pins last year, and I have mostly been a 1-pin shooter for most of my life, but I went with the 2 pins last year, and I set one at 25 and one at 35, and it worked out really well for me. And then of course I went with the XV Rest, which I'll talk more about in a minute here. But so this is last year's bow, and as you can see, this is the Matthews V3, and they made some major changes to the bow this year. And as you can see, the quiver is closer to the bow, which gives you better balance, and that means that you got to do something different with the sight. Now, this year it's a 4-pin sight that I'll probably use the top 2 or 3, but I went ahead and used the 4-pin. And the neat thing about the Schaffer sights is that you can choose how many pins you want, and they'll custom build it for you. If you want 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, they will build a sight for you with the number of pins that you request, and you can remove them if you want. So this is the DT Air, and as you can see, it is integrated into the bow instead of mounted to the side as they were previously. The new ones are actually integrated into the Matthews gridlock system. Now, Matthews just came out with this year, and a lot of companies did not adapt, and they're hurting for it because this has been a super popular system, and they're selling like hotcakes. And this sight is only 3 ounces, and so that's one of the things that I like about it. It's very, very light, and it's adjustable. It's very easy to adjust, and the pins are really bright. So that's what I really like about this sight. And it's made by John Schaffer, as is the rest. And I'm going to tell you something. John Schaffer owns Performance Archery down south of the Twin Cities here in Minnesota and Bloomington. Is it Bloomington? And John Schaffer is a real techie guy when it comes to archery equipment. He's really, really sharp, and he's invented these things, and he's probably the best bow hunter that you've never heard of also. He is, I think, only 2 or 3 species away from killing the entire 29 species Grand Slam, Super Slam with a bow in North America. And he just doesn't really work at making a name for himself, but he produces a lot of cool stuff. He's got a super popular archery shop here in Minnesota where people travel from all over the state and even Iowa and Wisconsin to come to his archery shop. So that's the sight. Now let me give you some bullet points on the rest as well, and I'm going to go ahead and put an arrow in the rest. And with this rest, you put your odd feather down. Okay, now the cool thing about this rest is if you are a person that likes a drop away rest, or if you're a person that likes a containment rest like a Whisker Biscuit, this has got the best features of both. And if you look at it, you can, when you draw, you'll watch, the rest closes. Okay, so if you're, say, spot and stock hunting or whatever, you can actually close the rest like this, push the pin, push the pin and it stays closed, and you have full containment of your arrow. So now this is the people that have always liked the whisker biscuit for this reason, especially if you're a spot and stock hunter, or you know, you're calling elk or something like that. You're doing something that requires you to have an arrow at the ready. This is super cool. The problem with the whisker biscuit was always that because it's got these spines that touch your arrow, that contact a hollow arrow, it was always really noisy when you drew, and then the fletching had to hit those brushes as it went through, and so there was some good things and bad things about the whisker biscuit. But if you like that kind of a rest and you like the full containment like this is the rest for you. So anyway, that's the short and sweet of what I like about this and why I decided to make the change to the Schaffer archery. And Schaffer archery's got just kind of this cult following where there is a lot of people who are super devoted to these products, love these products and the reliability of them and the cool aspects of them, and I have become one of them. So I'm actually pretty excited about continuing to use them into the foreseeable future, and I've got a lot of hunts planned this year where I'll be giving them a test and really putting them through their paces. And so I'm glad that you're along to watch it. So thanks for being a part of this channel, and if you're one of the guys that like the Schaffer products, leave a comment below and tell us about it. I know that, like I said, there's this sort of this cult following of people who really like them, and it's a small, you know, it's the American dream type of situation, how these are made and sold right here in the USA. So thanks a lot for being a part of this, and we'll see you on the next video.